We live.
Okay.
Whoever's still up, we ask that you go ahead and share this. I got my bros on with me tonight. Legit.
Yeah.
Patterson's finest.
You know it.
Yo, we everywhere, man. We
Yeah. It's
everywhere,
a
dog.
blessing, man. Super blessing.
We are everywhere, bro. I don't think people realize, how much stretch we have. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
because so much of the negativity is always in the news. I don't think people
man.
realize, like, we legit have people all over the country in different industries. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's
I see
killing
you,
it.
Mont.
You see me?
Oh,
You see me, baby?
I could have would
yeah.
have put that one on too.
Oh man, I still have I started working out in mine, man. So I actually need to get another one. So my my
I don't
my,
know.
my
I
letters
don't know
not
why
white
I'm
no
fucking
more.
around there.
My letters are like off white, like yellow from
Oh man, yeah.
working out in it. I gotta get another one.
Monty got a new one though. He got the
I,
new Apple joint.
I
that look
barely wear
fresh.
mine.
Oh yeah. That look fresh.
Yeah, I barely wear mine. That's why.
I
Ooh,
don't
Yo,
even know how you found one to fit your head, but I mean,
I
we
know.
are everywhere, bro. I don't think.
you got
Listen, man, it's
off, man.
late night. This is definitely not our normal hour, but my two bros, they live in a whole nother time zone.
Yeah.
Are we
Um,
live?
oh, we live, bro. We live.
Yeah, we live.
Oh, he didn't say he was live.
My bros, man, they live in two different time zones, and they are out here, just doing what they do, man. And we want to talk a little bit about that. About maybe 2 years ago, I was in church, and they were home, and they came to
Yeah.
visit.
I got that
And
picture too.
yeah, I think I got it. I might post it before we go. But after the sermon, we took a picture, and I think it was Al. When Al posted it, we called it Faith, Film, and Fashion. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, I
Talking
didn't know
about our
that.
areas of influence where we have been excelling, and you know, um, our lives have been going in a certain pattern. So
Yeah.
tonight we wanted to make that conversation a little public. Just share with them that how they've been handling the pandemic, how they've been just moving in their respective careers, and they've
Hmm.
been definitely doing a great job. You know what I'm saying? These are grown men, and we've known each other since we were little young
Okay.
boys in the hood,
Childhood.
young
Childhood.
G's in the hood. You know what I mean? So tonight, um, we got my boy AD, and
Yes,
we
sir.
got my boy Mont,
What's
aka
up?
Slick, aka Hollywood. Yo, AD, say what's up to everybody, man.
What's going on, Patterson? Whoever's on. It's your boy AD reporting live from Houston, Texas right now.
What's
Yeah,
up, everybody? It's Monty reporting live from LA.
yeah. So, everybody, just little backdrop. Like I said, faith, fashion, and film. My man AD has been working in the fashion industry for over 20 years.
Yeah.
He'll share a little bit about the companies that he's worked with. I normally don't like the whole name dropping thing, but because of the culture, and I need you to understand how these guys move, how these guys work. I want you to show that I'm talking to some legit dudes tonight. You know what I mean? These not
Yeah.
jokers in the hood that's giving you stories from high school and ain't do nothing since high school or
Oh,
ain't do nothing since college.
yeah.
But
No,
right
it's that.
now, you know what I'm saying, they making it happen. And so, yo, man, AD, just want to appreciate you, bro.
I
What many of
appreciate
you may
you as
not know,
well.
AD was also in my wedding. It's my
Yes,
man.
sir.
So, like I said, we go back. We go
Way
way,
back.
way, we go way back. But dude, man, what's been going on, man? How's Houston treating you? What's the movements now, man?
Well, Houston is doing it's cool. It's cool. So far, I moved out here to work with the company I'm no longer with, but it was a great 2 years with them. Did a nice, made the, brought the brand to the light of a few people that weren't aware. Hooked up a lot of collaborations, things like that. I moved here from Chicago, so I was in Chicago for 8 years,
Yeah.
Same thing with the fashion business. As I started off in like Carlos Shoes in Patterson, Inner City Blues, Carlos Shoes legend.
Yeah.
Started
Oh,
out
yeah.
there and just kind of started taking my career a little bit more serious when we opened up Inner City Blues up on Preakness Ave. That's
Yeah,
Union
that's
Ave, right?
Union.
Yeah,
Union.
Union.
Yeah. I definitely remember those. Like you guys was definitely selling some of the hood luxuries back then, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
You know what
yeah.
I'm
yeah.
But we had
saying?
a lot of dope count. We had a lot of dope. We had a lot of dope clients that came through though. Like we had all the New York Giants used to shop there.
Yeah.
Most of the NBA cats when they came to town, they hit us up and they would shop there.
Oh, yeah.
So we had a lot of we had a lot of and most of the Patterson celebrities also shop there, like the hood celebs and the ones that are doing what they do. But like we had a strong clientele, and that's where I gained a lot of my skill set within the fashion business, working
Yo,
in
good
those
stuff.
stores.
Just real quick, man. Just share with the people some of the clients you've had over the years.
Clients as in or people I work with company wise.
Companies you worked with, yeah.
Okay, so I started off with I worked with Varsity, Parish Nation, Born Fly, Crooks and Castles.
Yeah.
Man, I had a bunch of a company called Garbage. Oh man, I did a bunch. It's so many, man, because I've like collaborated, done so many. But those are like the Puma. Puma was my last
Yeah.
run. Right now, I just started off my whole agency, and I picked up Fashion Geek out of Chicago. So he's my first client.
Shout out to Fashion Geek. Yeah.
Fashion Geek. That's my man. So I'm running with him. My agency, I'm starting off. I got a couple of different brands that I'm kind of, just waiting to sign some paperwork with. So
Yep.
I don't want to put it out there quite yet, but I kind of talked to Mon about it.
Got you.
Talk to you about
Got
it's
you.
coming through. But those are like the biggest brands. Probably the biggest brand. I mean, the start was my very, very start on the wholesale side was Varsity.
Got you. Yeah, yeah. And you also had some features in the Double XL magazine, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We can't mention the other magazine. We can only talk about Double XL.
Yeah. The other one, they both around. They actually both are in the same month. Like when I first started in the industry, I kind of like I kind of just tried to do everything, a little bit of everything. I did a little bit of modeling, so I ended up hit some magazines. I'm fly, so they had to put me up in there real quick. So I definitely was in Source, Double XL. The other one we won't mention, but
Fresh by Choice.
It was a dope spread. It was a dope spread.
Yo, yeah. Shout out to Fresh by Choice, AD.
Fresh by Choice.
That's definitely an urban fashion influencer for sure. Yo, man, shout out to everybody that's logging in. My babe, she's still up. Good job, babe.
What up?
Let me see who else. Sean, what's up? Oh, my homegirl Sean is out in LA. She's doing her thing on the hotel end.
Nice.
Peace, Shalik. Peace to the guy.
Shalik? That's Leak?
Yeah, Shalik is on.
What up, Leak?
Dopest conversations, bro. I love that dude, man.
AD, somebody got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
The question is, hold on one second. I want to bring it up real quick. Okay, there we go. Are you a fashion designer?
I actually know how to design. I wouldn't call myself a fashion designer. I would say I kind of lead the creation of design. Like I know what to lead it to. But no, I'm not a designer.
Shout out again to my girl Sean, who's actually the largest Black-owned clothing manufacturer in the U.S. So thanks for logging on. Thanks for logging on, Sean.
I need to speak to her.
Sean, we gonna connect you to AD, and even while you in LA, we gonna make sure you and Mont get up that whole faith and fashion thing, man. So yeah, this is what I'm talking about. The love is already at the beginning. So yo, let's swing over to Hollywood. Let's give Slick some love right now, man.
Right.
So me and Mont go back to playing ball in City League. We ended up at the same high school, ended up at the same college. So Mont, take me from our days in Willie P, bro.
Oh man, first of all, I just want to say, Mo, thank you for this, having this on. I really appreciate all this. Having AD and myself. It's been a pleasure. I know you brothers since childhood. You guys are good peoples. If anybody know you guys, just know you guys are solid. And you guys are my brothers, and I'll do anything, and I appreciate the love. So let's get back to this. So yeah, man. Me and Moo go way back. You know, Moo is literally like my moral compass.
Wow.
Mine
he's
too.
like my he's like my moral compass, and what I mean by that, he's just a solid, good individual where I talk to on a personal level, professional level as well. And
Yeah.
he and I went through a lot, and yeah, and he's just been really good to me. And as far as where I am now, Patterson, I'm so grateful that I was born and raised in Patterson. I learned so many different things just being a part of it. It's a beautiful city, beautiful people. We have a lot of talented people that came from out of Patterson from all parts of our careers, which a lot of people know now, but it's a lot of talented people out there from Patterson. And I just think that whole experience, it just helped me be a stronger person, how I deal with things, and how I just walk my life now, even being in LA. I've been in LA for almost 20 years now, and it just started from college. It started from when me and Mo was in college. I played ball, I played PC, PC for life. Shout out to PC,
AC for
Whatever.
PC
life.
for life.
Definitely shout out
Whatever.
to the fam.
And it started from playing ball with everybody, my whole crew. To this day, we still all communicate every single day through
Thanks.
chat. We always chat every day, which is you don't find that type of basketball love and bond, but we still connect. And it started from playing ball, and I realized after playing basketball, I had to come up with a career. I knew I was going to go to the NBA, so I had to ask myself, what do I like to do in life? I had to ask myself, what are the things I like to do? I like fashion, I like sports, I like movies, I like entertainment. So then I had to figure out my niche. And once I figured out my niche, I realized I wanted to do something behind the scenes, and it led from going to William Patterson University. I graduated from William Patterson. Shout out to William P.
Shout out to Willie P.
And
For sure.
everybody from William
Pioneers.
P. And
Yeah.
it started from that small communication department where I just knew I wanted to do film. And
Yeah.
I landed. For anybody who goes to school, you can't get things from the career center, and we'll do outside internships, which led me to the NBA Entertainment and Secaucus, where I work with
Yeah.
NBA inside stuff. I started there, and I realized, you know what, do the behind the scene highlights. There's no dress code. They get paid well, and they're creative, and they don't have to really deal with if you're not really a people person. I was like, that's what I want to pursue. So from there,
Yeah.
I started from there. Then I went to MTV in the city. Then I interned there barely a little bit. Um, yeah, and then from there, I figured I wanted to come to LA if I wanted to make it happen. I had to go to
Yeah.
a place where mecca of entertainment, where it all happens. I
Yeah.
would go back home if things don't work out. So I just left. You know,
Got you.
with nothing. When I say nothing, I left with graduated from college. I left with like $600 in my pocket, moved to LA, and I was just grinding. I think it was that
Yeah.
Madison, that hustler mentality, just how you do. And hustler meaning it doesn't mean like you just hustle. It's just whatever type of grind you do to get where you want to be. And I just had that,
Yeah.
just never gave up. And then
Yeah.
one thing led to another, and I landed a gig working on my first movie called Not Another Teen Movie. And then
Yeah.
it was just movie after movie. I worked on Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, Legend of Zorro. I worked on The Hot Chick. I worked with Adam Sandler. And to this day now, I'm still working on movies, which I'm extremely grateful. But one thing about it, I just never forget where I came from, and my friends. It's really important to stay grounded with those things. But
Yeah.
yeah, you know,
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Shout out to the big bro Mont, who's out in LA doing his thing. Just celebrated a birthday a couple of weeks ago. And
uh,
what
thank
I'm
you.
saying? As you can see, again, for anybody that's watching, if you have children, please make sure they watch this. These are guys from the hood. These are guys from the inner city. Took that raw talent, took that raw grind, and made better choices for themselves. Um, didn't grow up in two-parent homes, had decent relationships with both parents, but they took that story, took that hustle, took that focus, and they did something well, and they're doing something well. So I got one more brother that just joined before we get deep into the conversation. He's not from Patterson. He is from Philly. He is also in the entertainment industry. He's in the dark right now. He's moving around, but Just wanted to take some time. Shout out to the homie Chaz Shepherd in the building.
What's up, Chaz?
Yeah, Chaz Shepherd in the car. What's up, fellas?
Yo, man, dude, just say what's up to everybody real quick, Chaz.
What's up to everybody and to who's also already in the conversation. I just caught Brother White, caught some of what he was saying. You know what I mean? So congratulations to you and
Thank
to
you,
anybody who is smart and strong enough to live their best life and go for what it is they want. That's always great for somebody like me to hear. For those of us who want to be inspired, we are inspired by surrounding ourselves with what will edify us and edify our goals. And if we're not around it physically, to tune into something like this, or to go on YouTube and look at videos and read books, to do whatever to feed the beast, the beast of the hustle, the beast of the desire. You know, so this, I'm glad you're doing it, Jay. You said to get on here, I'm here, Doc.
Real quick, Chaz, just give. I don't want to tell people what you did, man. Just give us a couple of movies or shows that you've been in, just so that we can connect to you real quick.
Sure. So I'm an entertainer, and the reason it's not specific is because it's multifaceted in the sense of performing. So you have me. I say music is what I am. Acting is something I do. So when it comes to being a singer, I'm a solo artist who also has joined in on other projects as a solo artist. Church-wise, West Angeles. I'm also a writer. I'm an actor. I guess I'm more known for that. And so it's about 20-something TV shows and a few movies and Broadway shows. So I wouldn't go down the whole list. But more recently, I guess the last thing that I did, my episode of The Blacklist for NBC just aired a couple of weeks ago. And then NCIS before that. But what I think what the banger was for me was Luke Cage, the second season. I did that a couple of years ago. That's streaming on Netflix. So those are some of the recent things as an actor, as a musician, a producer, writer, all of that music stuff. That I'm doing independently. That's all the time. I have 3 episodes out now of my latest music. And the production is even more fire than since I put those out, because I'm always evolving. I'm about to go to the lab now and cook up, you know, something good on a music stove, you know. So but yeah, a lot of things, plays and Color Purple and Chicago and Dreamgirls, all of these entertainment platforms. So I'm an entertainer. I happen to talk a lot too, so you know I have Chazology, which is my broadcast I do on Mondays and Wednesdays. Really, I feature it on Instagram, and then you're able to download it off of the site that I put up. You know, so I'm into entertainment, man. But my main goal is for people to be free, to live happy and in love, and so everything that I do is with that in mind, by way of whatever we're doing. Like say now, having this kind of conversation, or you know, if I'm speaking at an event, if I'm making music, it's always with that idea to inspire all of us to freely live happy in love. Because you can, because I had to put the in love part, because some people are actually happy with doing some jacked up stuff, man. And so that ain't the happiness I'm trying to encourage. It's just the one that's in I don't believe in boxes, but that's the one box I put in is love, man.
Yo, that's good stuff, man. Thanks for joining while you're on the move tonight, man. Just
sure.
I'm gonna talk to AD real quick, because he just talked about a little bit about transition. AD, a lot of people during the pandemic are making changes. What would you encourage someone now who's in the middle of that, as you're going through it? What's been your foundation, your motivation?
Well, the motivation and foundation is to know your worth and your skill set. You know, you just have to try to match it to what's going on exactly right now, because the world isn't going to be the same. So you have to watch those trends, and not just clothing, just the way the world is going to operate when it comes down, for me, retail, clothing, all that stuff, even going to the movies, going to dinners and things like that. You have to try to attack a niche in the marketplace that you can fit in, where you can use your skill set. And
Yo,
what
that's
I've
good,
done,
good
and
stuff.
what I've done is I've decided like just to launch my own company. My man Monty always encourages me, like, man, you know too many people, you know how to do too much. You don't need to tie yourself into a marketplace. So I finally I'm off the limb, and I'm just like, look, I'm just gonna go for it. And so far, like, and it's only been like a week that I decided. I always had my company, always had my LLC set up, but I kind of just was
Yeah,
in limbo. So now I'm just gonna take that step and just, knowing my worth. And as I speak to people, is in the fashion game, I pretty much put it down as best as you can at a position that I've been in.
yeah,
And as far as like, I'm well connected. I know trends. I know a lot about the business, but I also know a lot about the wholesale business,
got you.
which is
Good
like,
stuff.
that's what my strength is at. So I think for most people who are in the middle of transition right now, there's nothing really going on anyway. You just have to set your day and plan your day as you're planning for the future.
There you
And
go.
as you're planning for the future, make sure you're paying attention to what's going on, so that whatever you're planning for, your plan fits into that structure. Because
Got you.
even though I'm gonna have to tweak some things within my own business, like that's why I'm not just doing fashion. It's not just about clothing with my consulting business. It's just not about that. It's about connecting people, using those connections to make bigger things happen, but also gaining a small profit from it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Good stuff, bro. Monty, I'm gonna come to you in a second. Hey, Chaz, let me ask you, bro. What have you been doing as a creative? What have you been doing as a creative to stay creative during this pandemic?
Are you able to hear me? Because I couldn't hear anyone but you. I didn't hear anything other gentleman said. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay.
All
So
right, yeah. What I've been doing is exact that. I've been being creative, but what's been most exciting about it is I've been learning. This is the most perfect. Most ideal time to learn, because I want to learn so I can be better in my craft. I can be better at what it is I do, and my creativity can be even greater. So this has actually been a great time for learning for me. I've been studying. For instance, I mix my music as well, so I've been actually learning how to better mix, how to better use what I have. This is the perfect time to read the books that you never get around to reading because you've got to be here, be there. This has been the perfect time for learning. So I have not been sleeping, even though this is the ideal time to fall asleep all the time. But I've actually not been sleeping because I've been so excited about I'm getting better. Like I may have thought I was good, but I'm way better than I was before this started, because I've used the time to get better, to learn. This is not just time to, just chill out and max out. The doors will open again. And if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. So that's what I've been doing. I've been creating, but I've been taking out time, even of the creative part, to actually learn something. Let me look at some tutorials and read them. Let me learn. And I've been getting better. So I'm coming out, man, out of this joint. I'm coming out fire. I'm like very confident because I'm so much better already in the last few months than I was before it started. That's very important, everyone, to take the time to learn. Stay open to learning, not just being, but learning, so you can be better. Yeah.
Yo, that's good stuff, man. And so with your creativity, the learning has been actually adding fuel or fire to that creativity.
Completely. The fire is on blaze. So I already was creative, as they call it, but it was fueled. I'm excited now more than usual, almost as if I'm starting something from the beginning. Because in a sense I am, because I'm actually learning something I did not know. So that sense of newness, we all are high newness, whether it's a new relationship, a new job. Newness always is exciting and exhilarating. And there's a point where, it gets stagnant, and then, it's not as fun anymore. That's because that feeling that happens, the newness is gone. But if you continue to learn something new, if you continue the newness, you know what I mean, and advance it and get better, then you can kind of keep the fire. And so my fire is on a level, because I'm like, oh, wow, hear it like this. Les Brown says, I didn't know that I didn't know, and I thought I knew. And so I'm finding out that there's a lot that I did not know that would make me so much better. And so it's exciting. You know, I'm in the studio all the time,
Yeah.
creating but learning. Yeah.
No, that's
So
good stuff, bro.
to answer your question, yes, it adds a lot of fuel to the fire, bro. And also I'll say this too, because like say you're a pastor, but minister and all of that, and you know it reminds me of that scripture, to study to show thyself approved. You got to put in the work. You got to study. I think when we get older, we just leave room for being a certain way, but we don't leave as much room for becoming. And so we got to stay in that, you know, that becoming place so we can learn, man.
Good stuff, bro. Good stuff. One of the things that I've been having conversations about is like building relationships. In your industry, how important is that in the filming industry to have the relationships?
Oh, it's very important. But before I answer your question, I didn't want to be rude earlier. I want to give a shout out. What's up, Ant? I saw you. What's up, Jermaine?
Yeah.
What's up? Tell Brielle, Uncle Mont said what's up. Terrence, what's good, man? So yeah, to answer your question, Moo, having relationships is very important in the type of work I do. You know, it's not corporate. You know, in the corporate world, you know, you deal with like headhunters and recruiters. You got to go to 2 and 3 interviews, have your resume. My world doesn't consist of that. Mine is
Right.
more like almost like the music industry for the most part. Like a lot of things are done at events. A lot of deals are done at certain places, golf courses, or a lounge where you have a conversation, you set up a meeting, and just off the credit of your experience, who you know, who you connected to, speaks volumes. You know, so as far as like, I'm not even gonna lie, predominantly all my jobs that I had, you know, of course, you know, I put it on a resume, but it's based off my experience. And my industry is big, but it's pretty small, and we all kind of work together. So because of the movies and the people I work with, and they understand the type of work that goes into it, so they understand that I have the experience in my skill set that I'm able to provide. So it's just a matter of more of having more of a you know a meeting, as I would say, just to kind of, you know, just to check in and see, you know, if we can make things happen, project work. So relationships is very important. You know, I got all my jobs honestly off of relationships, like literally all my jobs.
Good
So
stuff.
I feel like, you know, relationships is key in my line of work. You know, not to discredit, you know, the corporate world, but it's a little different. You know,
Yeah.
I
Good
don't go
stuff, bro.
I don't go through 2 and 3 interviews. You know,
Yeah.
I just go on to different projects, and it's based on, you know, my experience and the network of people that I know.
Yo, good stuff. I'm gonna stay on you real quick, and then actually, Chaz, I want you to chime in on this, and AD, I want you to chime in on this.
Mhm.
You talked about $600 and a dream, and you just went to LA. Talk
Mhm.
about that transition from leaving your place of comfort to
Mhm.
go after what you wanted.
Oh, absolutely. You know, it's one of those things like, you know, like I said, I played at Patterson Catholic, our basketball team. If anybody know from Patterson, you know, our whole program, how we were with Coach Jim. Shout out to Coach Jim,
Shout
Coach
out Jim.
McCollum,
Shout out.
Coach Patterson, Coach Smart.
Shout out TP.
Yeah.
Shout out Rome McCullum.
So they know our program, and you know how things were, and you know, and as an athlete, we got, well, I would say we got pretty comfortable because, you know, we had a really good life in that era. You know, we had fun. You know, but I always knew it was a little more than that. I always felt like, you know, if I wasn't able to play at a higher level in sports, you know, what can I fall back to? I have to fall back to something, you know,
Yeah.
if I want to have a certain type of lifestyle. So that's where, you know, that whole thing came from, where I just had to pursue something. And, you know, I was young. I didn't have no responsibilities. I didn't have any kids at the time. I didn't have nothing to hold me back. So it's easy for me to take that leap and just leave
Yeah.
my comfort zone and leave that nest. You know, even my own mother,
Yeah.
I was the only child. I was a spoiled little kid growing up. But my mother was a little concerned, you know, but I had to do what I had to do. You have to have that mentality.
Yeah.
You have to have the mentality. You have to have the grind. You know, a lot of people could talk and, you know, say certain things, but you just got to do it. You know, you just got to tell yourself, and it's possible. Like, you hear these stories all around the world, interviews. These stories are real. You know,
Absolutely.
some stories a little more extravagant, but some stories, like, you know, like Al, like AD, myself, and, you know, where we actually are from, these, you know, our city, our hometown. I love Patterson, great city. but we want more. And the only way you have to only way to get that, you have to, leave the nest. And that's something I did. And it was all on faith, man. And I just had that mentality. Like I didn't have no other options. Like
Got you.
going out with $600, there was no other option. I just had to make it work.
Yeah.
I never gave a reason for not having nothing as an excuse. And I just kept grinding. Like it wasn't easy, but I just stayed very optimistic. I had really good people in my corner. I always met, wonderful people, like people on this chat right now. I'm at the same type of energy coming to LA. So it was a nice, smooth transition for me. And I just stayed honest and never took my eye off of that. I just didn't get discouraged.
Got you. Good stuff, bro. Chaz, talk about the move from Philly to LA. Were there any challenges for you? Did you just get up, or was there a middle period? How did that transition work for you with you going after what you wanted?
Well, there's a number of transitions to that question. The first one was smooth as all get out. This first one was just fantastic. It was all paid for. What was happening was I was auditioning in New York at that time, and what would happen is if you got a show, if that's something that was being filmed somewhere else, they would take care of it, even though the audition was, in New York. So when I first went to LA, it was because I had a job. It was Steve Harvey's first TV show called Me and the Boys. Actually, I'm sorry, that's wrong. Before that, it was Sinbad's show. It was Sinbad had a show, which Ray wound up doing, but I got in that show. And that was the show that moved my mother and I out to LA to do that show. So there has been a number of transitions. So the first one, the initial one, from Philly to LA was fantastic. It was exciting, was because of the job. It was not a hustle. It was not there were no hardships whatsoever. All was taken care of. Now that's a different transition from the one where a little bit over a year ago where I was sleeping in my car for months in LA. Okay, wow. So that's what I said. The answer to that question for me is multifaceted because there has been over 25, 26 years in my business. There have been a number of transitions. So we can range. I'm a good example of transition is smooth and it's just in the happiest and most comfortable of ways and approaches. And then also what we call the grind, if you would, the hustle that I've done that too. But here's the catch is this: even when I was doing the in my car hustle for 4 months, if you would, where I was also just a little bit over a year ago, mind you. This is about a year and a month ago was when I came back over to the East Coast. Before that, not only was I in my car, I was a singing waiter. I did that as much as they would let me. I wanted more shifts, they wouldn't give to me. But I was a singing waiter in Hollywood. Now, the reason why I was doing that after having done 19, 20 TV shows and the movies and all of that stuff was because what I had done did not matter concerning where I was going now, what I was after now. And it was no point in being hung up on what I had done before. I was hung up on what I wanted to do. And I was also hung up on not giving up and letting what I'd done just be the end. I was still ready to do more and go to the next level. And in order to do that, I had to be humble enough to move as if I had done nothing before. So I was willing to, from the place that I was in, I was at a place where financially I couldn't do it any other way. And I just had to go on. I was also willing to lose what I had to get what I wanted. And so there's a mind frame that I had to have. My mind had to be renewed for what was necessary for now. And so I was willing to lose what I needed to lose to get where I wanted to go. Actually, I did not have to lose. The very car that I slept in LA, I am in now in Philly. But between then and now, that car had been repossessed. And so I am back in that car. The home that I thought I was going to have to sell because they were trying to foreclose and take it, I'm in that home and doing all of the music that I'm talking about in that home. So what I thought I would lose, I actually gained and more. But the point is, I was willing to lose it all by trusting God and trust what was in me, because I thought that no matter what, God is always right. And so if God is putting this in me, then I don't have to worry about what I'll lose, because what I'll gain will be far more. And things have gone way up from there. Like I said, I gave two of the TV's top shows that I've been on since then. And
Wow.
so yeah, the transition for me is the transition is being transformed by the renewing of your mind. You have to have the right mind, and
Hmm.
that is the difference between those of us who get there, whether it's from nothing or from something, but who actually get there, and those who could get there but don't. The only difference is the mind.
Yeah. Good stuff, bro. Good stuff. AD, before you hit that question, Mont,
Mhm.
someone wanted to know what happened when you got to LA. What happened when you got to LA? How did your first, few months go in LA? What was it like for you? Chaz talked a little bit about his transition. Once you got to LA, how did things work out for you?
Okay, well, when I first got to LA, hi LaShawn, how you doing? When I first got to LA, I had promised a job. That's the reason why I came out there. But even though I was going out, to pursue my career, I wanted to make sure I had at least something lined up. So I practically had an empty promise lined up for me to work on this movie with Adam Sandler. You probably know it was an animation movie back then. This is almost 20 years back, 18 years back. It was called Eight Crazy Nights. It was a Adam Sandler
Mm,
Christmas. That movie got promised to me. So then I flew out to LA, and when I got there, they had something with the budget where they didn't have enough in the budget to hire me. So I was practically stuck out there with $600. And again, I had to figure out what to do. So what I did was I had to figure out how to get a quick little job that puts cash in my pocket, and that's being a waiter. So, and I figure I'll try to find a waiter gig, but I do it in the evenings, just to have money in my pocket. But during the day, I was hustling, grinding, trying to pursue and find something in the field that I wanted to pursue, and the reason why I came to LA. So that's what I did in the evenings. I waited at in Redondo, Manhattan Beach at Olive Garden. I did that for like, I want to say, a month or two, while I pursued, trying to find a gig, and which I did. I
yeah,
landed a gig, and I started from the bottom. I started from the bottom. I became a PA, production assistant on a movie, and that's how I learned my way around LA. Run here, go here, drop this off, and I learned my way in LA. And then from there, I got into the Editors Guild. Now, currently in the Editors Guild, Motion Pictures Editors Guild, and I worked on my first movie, and that was it. And once I got in, I just never took it for granted, and I still was grinding. I had that mentality. I just kept going, and I just
yeah.
saw my my experience and everything come to life, and I just saw my money double, and it just happened overnight. It was so surreal.
Wow. Good stuff. AD, man, let's talk about it, bro. A few years
Yeah,
ago, my dude bounced from Jersey to the Shy.
yeah,
Was
yeah.
good, man.
Well, I started making my way from Patterson to New York first. So that's why I kind of honed all my skill set as far as the fashion business. You learned a lot. Man, first of all, shout out to James Farrell. That's my mentor. He actually brought
James.
me into the business. He
Jay.
got me at Carlos. He brought me into that company Varsity in New York. I really didn't even have a job at the time. Or not I had a job, but I didn't have a position. So I would come to the office. One day I'm answering phones. One day I'm the fit model. One day I'm helping the production guys, sweeping the floor. You kind of just learning the ins and outs, dropping off stuff at like different productions, MTV, movie things. And as I moved around within the city, you started to meet people. And one thing I want to tell people watching, like, you never know who's watching you. So
Mhm.
when you encounter people, and
Yeah,
you have to make sure that you're trying to represent yourself in the highest position at all times. Because a lot of times you can rub somebody the wrong way and don't even know you rubbed them the wrong way. And they could be, what I'm saying, you don't even know who you're rubbing the wrong way. So, I had started meeting people, and I'm good at the networking part of the business. I know how to meet people, and I know how to move and shake. So when I transitioned to Chicago, I had known people there for years because I was coming there doing sales, doing what's the name of that Pulse show or whatever, just meeting a bunch of people out there within Chicago. So by the time I moved there, I kind of had like a small network of people built up. But like as far as like being away, you learn like what I learned in that transition. Like I learned how to cook because there's no more just running to mom's house and running to whoever house to go eat. So you have to learn those certain skills, and you learn how to navigate within like when you're born somewhere and you go somewhere else, like you get moral victories from like finding how to get to the grocery store, on your own without like navigation. So you have to like, it takes a lot to move away from your family. And
Yeah.
sometimes that, and like he's like the brother what's his name, Chaz said, you have to have a very strong mindset to do that, because like he's out in Cali, probably he was alone at the time. I'm in Chicago, I'm by myself. I know people, but it's like I'm by myself really. So you start to operate within a more independent phase in your life. You start, like, I actually became more of a man in Chicago. I was a
Wow.
man before I moved there, but I learned like how to be a self-sufficient man, like, because I can't just run to mom's house or run to dad's house, go to this person. Like, you have to learn how to manage your money. You have to learn how to do a lot of things. And when I got to the city, I started, Chicago, I knew people, but I started meeting more people on other sides of things, and they pull you into different like industries. That's what I was saying earlier, that you never know who's watching you. And,
Yeah.
and in the industry that we're in, fashion, film, and all that stuff, if you're a jerk and you kind of come off like a jerk, that kind of sticks with you for a long time.
Yeah.
Especially if then you have to make sure that you're in tune of what's going on different things, because like I got into stuff in Chicago that, like, the first season of Empire, I meet the lady at Nordstrom's, and then I end up doing a styling for Empire for like the first season. The kid Hakeem, whatever his name was, and they cut me a check as a consultant because you have to be in some gilding you have to be part of some organization. So she said, listen, I don't really know what I'm doing, but she called me. I go there, put the stuff on, pick the clothing out of they had like this big wardrobe. That's the first time I really worked on a really big wardrobe set. You see all the stuff in there, you kind of pick it out, you tag it for what scene it is, and kind of remember that stuff. So you start to learn those type of different skill sets. So just being like, the transition was dope, because like coming from Patterson, like some of the stuff that you get to do, and when you tell people, they might think you lying, like, oh, you ain't doing it. And you like, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times, because they don't, they're not living those same type of lifestyles, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like, it broadens your perspective on like the world.
Yeah. Good stuff, bro. That's what's up, man. Because I know, there are people now who are looking at making changes, and on the gram and on social media, you can kind of paint the life that you want people to think you have. And I'm talking to today guys who have made decisions, made the transitions, and to me, and for me, based on my conversation with you guys, I'm enjoying what you're doing. I'm enjoying your process. I'm enjoying seeing and hearing the growth. But again, if everybody on the gram is only showing the rewards, it gives people a false sense of what's actually happening. And when they when they confront their first set of, difficulties or adversities, they get a reality check. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, well, dag, they didn't show me this part on the gram. You was inspired by what I showed you, but I didn't, show you the rest of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, go
I
ahead.
want to say, a lot of people are like, and I failed at many things, and I'm probably going to keep failing because I keep trying. So I'm always going to try to try something new. But a lot of people are very afraid to fail at small things. I think that if you don't take the chance to try to do any of these things that you inspire to do, and you're going to get told no, and it's not going to happen the way that you think it's going to happen. Like the brother just said, he said, hey, my car got repoed. It's things that go on that that you're going to have to deal with, but the mental capacity to understand, to fight through it, like, yo, listen, this happened. I call you in distress sometimes, all the time. I call you, but I call you I'll call you a mine, and you guys give me, hey, bro, because I'll trip out sometimes. I'll be like, man, this ain't working. I'm start working out. But I'll call y'all. You be like, hey, man, like, relax, and you get to speak to people that can speak you through these things. But you are always not, like, I haven't won all the time in fashion. I work for terrible brands. I work for good brands.
Yeah.
They come hand in hand. But I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to take something new and try to make it bigger. That's my skill set. I'm not afraid to just jump out the window and say, if I believe in something enough, I go, okay, you know what, I'm gonna help you with it. But you have to know that every situation that you're in is not the long situation. It's gonna be for a short time, but you only
Yeah.
stick in it if you leave your mind in it. Like if you keep your mind in that terrible situation, sometimes you got to be like, all right, well that ain't work. On to the next. Like you have to
Yeah.
really be strong-minded to do that.
Hey, AD, you talked about something that I'm gonna ask Chaz and Monty, and then I'm gonna come back and spin another question on you real quick. Chaz, how did you handle your first no in the industry? Your first rejection?
With complete ease. My first no, my first no, I almost didn't even hear it. It was like I was blessed with preparation. So
Oh, he's going in. Chaz, we got a poor connection. Okay, we'll come back.
Mother mentally, she prepared me for what we were getting. Say,
Chaz, we're losing you.
It's tripping, huh?
Okay, I think you're back. Wait.
I'm back. Am I back?
You're back.
Okay.
Okay, you're back. So you said your mother prepared you?
Yeah. So mentally, so this was she said. She said, "Now we're going to this audition." She said, "If you get the part, then we're going to celebrate. And we're going to have ice cream." She said, "But if you don't get the part, we're going to celebrate and we're going to have ice cream." And so I was fully supported, going into a world of no's, and I never took it as something against me because I was prepared mentally and emotionally, and was so very well supported and validated. So that's one thing that I have not had on my was was no being a reflection of me, which is what I know a lot of people experience. They let the no be a reflection of them. No was never a reflection of me. My dad used to say, "Well, if that's their loss." That was his first words. If I auditioned and didn't get it, oh, their loss. So I always had this support that I am great and I'm doing a great job, and it's just a matter of if it's for me or not. So if you have that mind, you are definitely open to no's, even though you're not after the no. When the no happens, it's not a reflection of you. The only time it's a reflection of me is when I know I did not do what I could have done. I didn't follow wisdom. I didn't do my best. I didn't do what I knew to do. Then it's a reflection of me, and then I have a problem. But other than that, I understand that no is part of the process. After I told him, some of his people told me no about something. He said, "Yeah, well, the thing is, you only need one yes." He said, "Send it to me."
Ooh.
You know what I mean? So I'm not tripping off the nose. I never. But yes, they are a part of going after something. And you got to remember, the no's are for different reasons. The no's aren't always because you weren't good enough or did something wrong or something. It's not all about you. There are other people and other agendas involved. So sometimes you get a no because you may not fit what someone else is trying to do, even if what they're trying to do is selfish. The no is not a reflection of you. It is a reflection of something involving the entirety situation. And yeah, why did this person get it and they're not as good as I am?
Yeah.
There's other reasons for some.
We're losing you again. I'm gonna get
who may not
question.
be.
Chaz, we're losing you again, bro. Okay. So
As good as you in a certain.
yeah, Chaz, you freezing up, bro. Okay, there we go. So Jermaine just sent this question in. I want you to tackle this. I want you to tackle this. I want you to tackle this. Talk about how growing up in Patterson, we had to navigate the streets, but still keep our mind on the bigger goal, while some of our friends, he used the word failed.
Oh, Good question, bro.
So and failed, that can be
It's
Did
a good
measure out. That's
yeah.
yeah.
Well, well, work for me. It all becomes it's it's a mindset. It's a mindset and it's a mentality. I always you know, we all can get easily distracted, right? You know, we can get influenced by certain things, you know, and sometimes we all do. But you know, it's a lesson learned sometime. But for me, I always felt like I wanted more. You know, I didn't want to just settle. So you know, I just always figure like if I go a certain type of route, I just know sometime the possible outcome that can come from that. And it can set me back, you know, on the bigger picture, probably what I wanted to pursue. So what helped me was, you know, I guess my personality was a little bit stronger where I just wanted more. So in order for me to do that, I had to pursue and figure out the best possible way to do that, as well as still maintain a relationship with all my friends. I got all types of friends. I got childhood friends, got hood friends, I got colleagues, I got college buddies. Um, you know, I
You
have
got rich friends.
I have I have international friends. I have it all. And it's because of the mindset. I think it's just my personality. I was just able. Some people are just, you know, they just get sidetracked, and sometimes they just get caught up, and it's just hard for them to transition. I can't speak for everybody else, but for me, I just knew that, you know, certain things wasn't an option for me. That's what made it more easy for me, and I had the patience, and I was just very optimistic about the long term goal. You know, I just wanted more. You know, we come from a place where, you know, we're taught certain things a certain way, you know, and what we see visually sometime, but I knew it was more to that in life. I just always had that, but I just had to have the guidance from certain mentorships, from certain friends. Jermaine, you and I had plenty of talks. You know, you too, man. I love you, bro, and we had some nice talks, and you're a very intelligent brother, and you get it, you know, because we're similar. You know, we have a similar type of upbringing, but
So
that's
what we're gonna do is, AD, we got two questions back to back for you. I want you to take this next question, and then
ooh.
Jermaine is playing co-host on the side. And then Money E is chiming in right now. So
E,
yeah, this
what up?
discussion is about to get real interesting. Shout out to
E,
Money E.
what up,
Shout out to
E?
Money E. Always show love from around the way. So AD, take.
Listen, his name is Sam White. He's a professional right now, brother.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
You are 100% right. Sam White.
Sam
Shout out
White.
to Sam White. No more. I
Rock
think he
Nation.
posted that too. My bad, Sam. You did post that. No more Money E.
I still call him Money E too, but on this platform, we're gonna call him Sam White because he's a
Sam White.
professional brother.
LaShawn has a question. How did you navigate friendships with those who never left Patterson with a narrow worldview?
Ooh.
What?
Ooh.
Wow. I mean, you know, like, wow, that's a good question.
Ooh.
So, you know, you have your friends that are back home in Patterson. You know, sometimes you have to learn how to deal with them in a certain sense, because, like, you know, sometimes it can come off very braggadocious if you really tell them everything that you have going on. So you have to know your audience. You know, you tell people what they kind of, you know, need to hear. Some people want to ask you about like what's going on, but you know, sometimes you have to the people that don't have a big view of the world, you can explain some of it, you know, but for the most part, you kind of really have to, like, you can still be their friend and try to get them to see a different view of the world. But if they haven't really gone anywhere and haven't stepped out of those lines, you know, it's hard to try to explain how things really go outside of Patterson. I still love them the same, but I also know that, you know, some of the talk will go over their heads. You know what I'm saying? Some of the stuff that you're doing will go over people's heads, and it's nothing wrong with that. They just don't understand. There's some stuff that's going on that go on in Patterson that go over my head when I'm home, because I don't, you know what I'm saying? You kind of like, I don't really understand this lifestyle, even though you grew up in it and you lived it. But the way that you are now, like the AD Ali Al is not the same person that I was in Patterson. It's not, you know, I'm not the same person. I grew, you know, every time that you grow within hopefully you're growing in mindset every day that you're, you know, that you're on this planet. But, you know, what she's asking is, you can still have those friendships. Like you can still have them. You could try to give them, you know, you can try. It's not all the time it's going to work, but you know, you if you're a good friend to a person, like I'm good friends to people. Like that's one of the strongest attributes I have. I'm a good friend. So
Without a doubt.
you know, I know how to just, you know, the people that are going to listen to you are going to listen. The ones that are going to not listen, you kind of can figure those things out. You still love them the same, but you can't give them, you can't give them you can't give them too much energy to say that.
Yeah.
Like, and you still love them, but just like, hey, like I used to hang out on the corner and do all this stuff and, you know, kick it. But in your lifestyle that you live now, like, you know, I'm 44 years old. I'll be 44 this year. I feel crazy talking about going to stand on some corner and like kick it like that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
That's hold on. I see Jermaine had a question too.
Yeah. Jermaine had a question for you, AD. Go ahead and tackle this question.
Oh man. Wow.
I saw it. I'm like, wow, man.
Yeah. So man, bro, that's a deep one right there because you know I went to Fairleigh Dickinson with his cousin Jamal Burden. Like he and I were in the same suite at Fairleigh. And you know, Chaz would come up there on the weekends and come kick it with us sometimes and come hang out. And then like, you know, I had heard he was in the streets a little bit or whatever, and then he passed away, you know, his untimely death or whatever. And then it kind of it hurt because it's like, man, the kid was a heck of an athlete. He can ball, super funny. He used to call himself, he used to be riding with us in the car going like the parties, calling himself Mad Chaz, and he'll start rapping or whatever. So like those type of things, like, you know, like saying that, and there's many people that we've lost that I grew up with in Patterson, you know, and it gives you a reality check to know that had you not decided to take some of the roads, the paths that you taken, you could be that same person. Or be in that same situation. Yeah. And you know, it's unfortunate when I hear like some of the stuff that goes on back home with some of the, like a lot of people that I love, because we love our hood. Like we from that, we from Patterson. And the young lady spelled Patterson wrong, but it's all right. We don't let her go on that.
Patterson 1T. So Sam White, this question is for you, Mont, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about Chaz being from Philly. But Chaz, you can probably speak to this as well. Mont, the question from Sam is, do you think you would be successful if you stayed in Patterson? And I want you to speak from your speak from your experience.
Okay. What's up, Sam? How you doing, bro? Yes, absolutely, man. Like I would love to stay home in Patterson, but you know, unfortunately, the line of work that I wanted to pursue, you know, LA in movies is the mecca of entertainment. So a lot of work is done out here. You know, it's some stuff done in New York, but a lot of stuff is done here, and it's consistent work. So I had to relocate to LA, but my intentions were to stay home. And I think, you know, if the situation permits, I would definitely, you know, come back in near the area if I could. But I definitely think I still would be successful, you know, as far as in my career or what I wanted to pursue. It's just because it's a mentality thing. I don't think, you know, where you are has anything to do with it. It's you as an individual, you know, how you move, you know, for yourself. You can speak for yourself. You can do your type of line of work anywhere you go. You don't have to be in Patterson. You could be here. You could be in Texas. You could be in New York. You could be in LA. It's the person. You, your own, you know, driving force, you know.
Good stuff.
I think, but J Moo, I think that what Sam was asking, like, do you think you would have been successful had you stayed in Patterson like that?
Oh, okay.
And I honestly don't think that if I had stayed in Patterson the whole time, those avenues of the business that I'm in aren't set in Patterson like that. You know, you know, those avenues aren't set there. So you have to venture out to be in fashion. To me, if you're not doing it in New York, you're not really doing it at all, because you need to be over there to that's the mecca of it. And then like movies in LA. So if you haven't really tried those avenues, like you can't be on your block saying I'm doing fashion. Like you have to step out and get to those ranges. I'm dead serious. But you have to step out to those ranges to get to where that stuff is, to see if it's really
you right, fam, because you know, I want to word this right. I do try to word things right so people don't think I'm being shady.
Yeah.
Because you have many of those who have kind of So let me ask it this way. What would you say to the person who wants to start, they're calling it their brand or their line of clothing? What, go from
Well,
there.
well, if you like, when it comes down to fashion, so you have people that they make a t-shirt or a sweatshirt, which see, technology has now caught up to make this very simple. Like I can make a t-shirt tomorrow that says whatever. When you start with the branding situation, you really have to, the product is last when it comes down to the fashion game. To me, now the product is last. To brand your whatever name you have, the branding is what takes place before. I think you should start on your branding before you start with any, first of all, get your trademark logos and all that stuff. Like a lot of people, you don't do your paperwork, and that's when you're branding yourself. You get your trademark, you get your LLCs, you get all that stuff going. Then you can start with the product, because you have to make brand. Like, what, I'm not gonna say you don't have a brand, but if you just have a brand and you're just telling people I do this and I do that and I'm selling it wherever you're selling it, but you need to just, hey, ask them, go to New York, go into these stores that actually sell product in Patterson. Put it on wheels, like cosign, whatever. Just say, hey, look, I got this t-shirt brand and I want to see if it sells. You put it in the store. It's no hurt, no foul. You can kind of see if you have something. You need to probably attend some of these like clothing conventions. They have clothing conventions in New York. They have them all over the place. But I think that you really need to step out of your comfort zone to figure out if you got something, because everybody's cool. Like, everybody gonna tell you, yo, you got the dopest hat or shirt, and those your homies. Like, you have to impress a stranger to have a fashion brand. That's what I think.
Wow, good stuff.
Somebody who doesn't know you at all, who just think they're gonna look at whatever you're making and they go, that's dope. Like, to me, that's when you kind of have something on your hands.
Yeah, good stuff. Hey, Chaz, man, you good? We connected, Reverend. All right.
You see the background change, man. I'm on the big screen now. I can hear Aaron now. You know what I'm saying? We in there.
Hey, Chaz, question, bro, because as you said, man, you're an entertainer and you do a number of things. But one of the stories that I am like overly impressed with that we had a conversation about, man, your first music project. Sam, hold on real quick. Sam said he's proud of you guys, man.
Thank you.
I'm proud of him too, bro.
Sam, thank you so much,
man.
bro. All love to you, man. Much success on everything you're doing and all the new clients you're getting. And you know what I'm saying? You definitely make it happen, bro.
Official Rock Nation.
Official Rock Nation. We got Rock Nation in the building tonight.
Man, we got to talk too, man. I want to talk to you. I haven't talked to you in a minute, man. I'd like to catch up with you.
Chaz, I need you to talk about, because we're in this pandemic and, people are tapping into different sides of them. But your story about your first music project, Stretching Out, man, just talk about the favor that was surrounded around that. I want to inspire somebody, when you share your dream and somebody catches it, just like you said earlier, one yes can change your whole life. Yeah. Talk about that project, man.
Oh, all right. And going into it, I got to put emphasis on what Alan A.D. Davis just said, impress a stranger. Now to preach, young brother. That's good stuff. But that's like one of those profound things that if somebody really latch on to with that one phrase, if that's a goal to have, that can really make you raise your game up, bro. That's right there. Impress a stranger. That should be a billboard, yo. But anyway, well, it's kind of like two first projects. So I wonder which one are you talking about? The first like R&B soul one?
Yeah, that I put R&B soul joint.
So yeah, so that's so
the magic joint, like.
Yeah, man. So I was pushed into that. So then things that I think I can do. I thought that one day I would do them, and then circumstances will have you doing stuff way before you thought you would have to. And so at a point I was signed to Atlantic Records like long ago, later 90s, whatever. When they wanted me to be another kind of artist, I wasn't with it, and we peacefully ended that particular relationship. And while I was acting, I was, always doing music. Music, as I said, is what I am. So that was always happening.
a young lady who was a dear friend of mine. She was a songwriter as well. We were having crazy conversation one night, and she said, "How about, I take a shot at just straight managing the situation." We started off with her just wanting, kind of just help me out. Get to the point she becomes my manager. While she is managing me in music, trying to help with getting my music heard. You know what I mean? At that point, she had, gotten it in front of Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre loved it. Said, "Can I hold this? Can I keep it?" Said, "I'm a pass because I don't know what to do with it." He's like, it's pretty much, how do you produce a Donny Hathaway from my neck of the woods? So
Right.
He didn't necessarily know what to do with that. Well, fine. A couple other folks, everybody's in agreement that there's talent there, blah, blah, blah. Then she comes into a relationship where she had access to a buttload of money, like a whole lot of money. And she said, "You know what? Why don't we just do this ourselves?" Okay, we go for doing it ourselves. She'll be a label. I'll sign this to this one off. We'll work out the whole thing. We had lawyers involved. We did it all professional. And the crazy thing is that situation just went haywire. It went bad. Now we got the music was done, but the business of it went haywire. Misunderstand. A lot of emotional stuff got all in the way. The whole thing. So what happened was that pushed me to now start my own label in order for the music to get out.
Right.
So I was pushed into being a label sooner than I thought I would, because that was the way. It was one of those things where, well, if this is going to happen, it actually ain't going to happen unless I do it, or I would just continue to wait for somebody. And so that is how that started. Chaz Records starts. I wanted to start with that name, making Chaz, just like Disney did with Disney. All right. So now we have the record. We have everything in place professionally. I think Alan was talking about, like with fashion, getting your corporation, getting your situation set up first. All of that was ready to go. And now it was a matter of doing radio and all of that type of stuff. The cool thing is this: the guy who was now managing me at this point when I'm putting the record out was a guy he's out there in LA, has relationships with everybody, blah, blah, blah. He keeps pushing this one guy to let me come on his show, and to play the music. The guy keeps playing him. Kind of, this is his part of that story, but the guy kind of backed it up. Guy was like, "Man, I got the #1 show, you know what I mean, in the country, morning show. I ain't got time to be playing around." My man keeps knocking on the door. He's thinking I would get some love because me and this guy, the host of this show, Steve Harvey, we work together. We got personal life, you know what I'm saying, in common. And even our family members or whatnot. So Steve ain't giving no handouts. You understand? And so finally, he gets to where Steve said, "All right, Chaz is in Atlanta." I was in Atlanta at the time we were touring with Dreamgirls at the time. And so since he's going to be in Atlanta, all right, I'm doing this new segment now. I had Anthony Hamilton, I had this one. He's come on a Friday. He let me come on his show where I would sing live. But it's the first time he's hearing the music. So when I sing live and I'm singing the track, Steve Harvey, hell, he's going off the whole nine, and he's thinking, "Wow, this is not no charity joint. Dude, you really do this." And so Steve Harvey wound up jumping all over a song I had called Chemical Reaction. It became his favorite song of the year. He says, even when he said he was going to retire doing the stand-up thing, he said he's going to listen to Chemical Reaction in his dressing room before he come out. I mean, he gave what money could not buy. This is in the music industry, you use money to get this. Okay, the reason why a lot of people didn't know about that album was because the DJ said I had a top 5 record, and if I had the money, it would have been the new D'Angelo, if you would. Okay, and so Steve literally, like they put, like, labels were trying to get him to play their folks, and he was already Steve. He was like, you can't pay all of me. I'm always Steve, so I'm gonna play who I want to play. And I was who he wanted to play, and it gave such much favor. Went to iTunes. The head of iTunes loved the music. I didn't have the moolah. Put me on the front page. So there was, at this time, John Legend and the Roots had a record out. So it was John Legend and the Roots. It was Jennifer Hudson. It was Chaz Shepherd. It was somebody else. And I'm sure the labels was like, who is this? Like, up in our lane. He's supposed to be independent and, trying to make it. Don't nobody know who he is lane. X this. And I'm sure they went on their campaign, get this little guy out. But the favor was crazy. And what the lesson is out of that is for all of us, and for me now, even still, is, it's pretty much just the Tyler Perry situation where it is You have to go for what you want. And a lot of y'all sitting around being talented, and you think you're entitled. You think because you're talented, it's supposed to happen. And you're wondering why you're looking at TV or looking at something and seeing somebody else, you know, who you gonna clown and criticize, why they up there, because their work ethic and their grind is so superior to yours. Because you're talented, you're thinking, I deserve this. Deserve means what you worked for. You don't innately deserve nothing. And so what I learned from that is I have to, like, there's a story that I want to do right now. I know it is incredible. And of course, I know if it had the juice behind it, if it had the machine behind it, it would be bananas. However, the position is I'm going to have to get that off the ground. The machine and the juice comes after they see what you have done. Mm-hmm. And you have gone to a certain place and they say, all right, we see money here. You know what I'm saying? Let's get in. How about we add to this? And then here comes your deal. It's the Jay-Z story. It's the Master P story. It's the Tyler Perry story. It's the person that goes out there and says, I don't even know what to do. So let me find out what I don't know and just start working on that and be open to this taking years. This is that and the other. And next thing you know, man, you have a story about how something just happened, but it didn't just happen. You went and made it happen. So that's like the crux, you know what I mean? The shortest version of how that album got moving. And really what the album stopped when I stopped. That's the truth. Like it could have kept going, but I stopped when it was like, oh, I don't have the moolah to pay off to this one and to that one. Okay, and I pulled back. God didn't pull back. The project didn't pull back. I pulled back. So now I've learned, you know what I mean? It's your consistency, and you know that'll get it. I'm in that place now.
Wow! Shout out to
fire though, so get it.
Yeah, I don't know who this person is, but some of y'all got some international friends. Somebody from Brazil just logged on and said hi. So I don't know. One of y'all. I don't know.
I've been one time. That's it.
Well, nah, but yo, I just want to say, everybody that's into R&B, I promise you, the project that we're talking about is called Love and Truth. If you go to iTunes right now, I promise you, you download that junk right now, you would swear it came out in the last 12 months, man.
I'm gonna do that.
The writing, the music, it's clean and it's sexy. It's grown folk.
I'm gonna
download it as soon as it get off.
You got that magic. What? And then you got them little Philly interludes in between
the
there.
Phillyludes, yeah, man. Phillyludes, yeah, bro.
Listen, I'm telling you, he got some stuff that he just put out a few months ago, but that chemical reaction, you'll see why Steve Harvey said what he said, bro. Like that joint still got life. I'm telling you that joint still got life.
Sleepless nights, bro. Your boy is on it now. I finally got the right mentality to do what's necessary. So now I'm on it. You know what I mean?
Yo, let's stay right there, man. AD. Let's talk about mentalities, bro. Let's talk about mentalities. Chaz touched on it a little bit. Some people feel entitled, but yo, let's talk about how the type of mentality we need. You know, people talking that Mamba mentality, but they don't have the ethic, they don't have the work ethic to follow it, man. Talk about having the right mentality in today's time in your industry.
I think the mentality that you really have to you have to believe in yourself for one. I mean, I know that's like cliche, believe in yourself, but you really have to, like I said earlier, you can't be afraid to fail. And you also have to go into the door thinking that you're the man. Like you have to go in there with that type of confidence and with that, because like just like Monty said, out of all the jobs that I've had, and this is a big Puma corporation, these people called me. I didn't call them. They called me because they like I have a skill set that they need at the time. So when your mentality has to really come from, I played for Mr. Collins. Shout out to JFK High School, Mr. Collins. He was a hard man to play for. He was but he also put that hard work ethic in you where you had to, you might not be able to sleep all night. You might have to get up early. You have to dig in deep to get to the things that you want. And if you like to, and just to get to the money, and not money isn't always important, but to maintain a lifestyle that you want to live, you're going to have to sacrifice and do a lot. So your mentality should be to make sure that your family's cool, you're cool, and your friends are cool. Like, you have to. I don't have the Mamba mentality. Is Kobe's thing. I have the AD mentality, the Aliyah 10th Ave and 27th mentality. I'm gonna get it whichever way I need to get it. I'm gonna have to. Sometimes you have to take you have to take away from your losses and your wins to get to whatever victory you're shooting at right now.
Yeah.
Like, you have to take those talents. So that's the mentality that I have is, I think that I'm the best. I practice to be the best. So when I walk in the room, I am the best.
All right.
Oh yeah. Yeah, let's talk about that mentality piece, man. You touched on it a couple of times earlier, man, about knowing what you want and going after it. But within that, like, are there certain things that you should be, doing to get to that mentality?
Yeah, I believe so. I think everyone should try to practice having a certain mindset if whatever they want to pursue and go after. I know as far as with me, my mentality consists of just having patience, being optimistic, taking rejection not as a negative, kind of like what Chaz kind of spoke about, but more of like not taking no as a negative, but no as it could be for different reasons, not so much focusing on you and not take it personal, because life is not easy. A lot of us didn't grow up that way, and the world just doesn't revolve around like that. But you just have to really develop just having patience, just being optimistic, and just never never deviate off the path that you want to pursue. Don't get distracted. Don't get sidetracked. And if you do, just get back on that path. And also what Chaz said, you just got to surround yourself around, people like us, like, what we're doing now, having these like discussions about, our backgrounds, where we come from, our challenges, our paths, our setbacks, you just got to keep reinforcing that and surround yourself around people who are trying to do the things you want to do, or just people who could just influence you. Because at the end of the day, we're all influencers in the different walks we walk. You have Chaz, who's very versatile. He's an entertainer. He's a musician. He's a businessman. He's everything. And Jay, you're a very godly and spiritual man. You're very, what's the word I want to say? I'm trying to think, but I can't think of the word right now. But you all those things. And AD, we just all come from certain paths, and you just gotta just keep bouncing off that energy, and just that's what helps me. I just surround myself around different types of people. It doesn't necessarily have to be a person who's career driven. It could be just a friend, a really good friend who could just lead me and give me the right information I need at that given time. But just kind of circling back and not getting too far off what you're asking me, the mentality just comes from just having patience, being optimistic, and you just have to have that in you. You have to have that will, period.
Yeah.
The will.
Yeah, for sure.
The glass needs to be always half full.
What'd you say?
Say that again, AD?
The glass always needs to be half full. Like, however you look at it, it's half full. That's how
Not half empty, half full.
Yeah, it's always half full. Like, oh well, yes, it's just half full, because that's what drives you. And you're gonna I get disappointed and I have downs, but it's also like when you're down, it's a mindset thing. Like, you have to snap yourself out of it. Like, you have to really dig into your own mind, because a lot of things that are troubling you, or that bother me per se, I can speak personally for myself. It's all in my head usually, and once I get those thoughts together and get them, all right, cool, this is dumb. I'm over here upset about. All right, I can't. Most of the things that I'm usually upset about is stuff that I have no control over anyway.
Yeah.
Like, you can't. The outcome of what somebody else is doing and what they're saying and how they're acting, it should not affect you. Like, that's them. It's kind of like even a little bit selfish in a sense. Like, well, that's their problem. I don't have time for it. But just to put that in your mindset, especially in business. And like within the fashion business, like, you're gonna make stuff, people are not gonna like it. Like, designers that are on here, they may not like it. Now.
But Jay, can I add to what you're saying?
Absolutely.
I think I want the same thing that I think you want out of this discussion. I think anybody who's looking is to first understand that they're listening to guys who have a certain level of drive in them.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're listening to guys who have a drive in them. They keep driving because of what's in them. I think that everybody needs to take a good look at themselves, what kind of person they are, because here's the thing. A lot of people use these type of platforms, they look at them for entertainment. Inspiration is very entertaining. It's very entertaining.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? And so we look just to enjoy the inspiring words, to enjoy the stories. Now, there's a difference between being entertained by inspiration, you know what I mean, and actually being inspired enough to move, to actually take from it and to do something. So I think I want the same thing you want. Like, I think that everybody needs to understand with this panel, this is like a drive panel. Okay, this panel is driven. You know what I mean? So the thing is, like you said, it's the person who has said, it's the person you are. I think Montrese said that, you know, it's the person you are. Like Jay-Z said in one of his raps, he said, I'll sell water to a whale. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I do. So it don't matter where I am. I'm a hustler, baby. Just want you to know.
I just want you to know.
So it's still the job, whether I'm in Patterson to the person, Sam, I think it was, that asked, would you be successful in Patterson? Well, you can be a successful individual. The ways of your success might be different, like, you know what I mean? But we are success. That's what we are. Like Jason Moody is success. He's going to be Jason Moody, whether he's here, Baltimore, LA. Jason Moody is successful. Alan, Montrese, Chaz, they're successful beings. What I want everybody to get from this is, and you're talking about like the mentality, you have to become successful. Like you have to become a successful person. You know, you have to become successful. You know what I'm saying? And
you're preaching.
You know what I mean? That's what it is. It's like, because even the Bible says, can any man come to God unless God call him? And so that's like one of those open verses. It's like, well, how do we take that? Because do you have it in you? Do you have it in you to sacrifice? When Alan said it's going to take sacrifices, I don't think y'all get it. It's not as sweet. He said it's sweet. He said it real nice. Like, I'm just telling y'all, no, the sacrifice is bananas, because you got to sacrifice what you like for what you want.
Woo!
The sacrifice is real. So until you become successful, it don't matter what we say on this joint. We will just be entertaining you. Yo, those brothers, oh, they right on. He slept in his car. He only had $600. He wouldn't. He knows about fashion. They should know how to put people together and bring comes. Oh, I love God. Y'all go, brothers. Well, we want you to go. We want you to go, though. We want you to be like, okay, how much can I live my best life in a way that I'm not right now? What can I do? Like action. What can I do to get that? I just wanted to throw that out, that I don't want them to get caught. That there's a lot of people that come from stories similar to ours. There's 8 billion people in the world. You ain't the only ones with stories. The difference is there's a drive. It's something within. I have a song that's not out yet. It's called Something Inside for Strong. It's something inside that pushes past being the waiter and this, that, and the other, and the nose and the lights being cut off. I've had all of it happen. And my boy laughs at me because he's like, yo, you thought this stuff was funny. He said, you walked in your house, hit the switch and the light didn't come on. You started laughing. Well, the reason I started laughing and wasn't devastated was because the glass was always half full for me. So it's y'all gotta, I'm telling you, y'all gotta get to that place. If you're not there, some are, but if you're not there, you have to get to the place where you're like, almost the whole Malcolm, by any means necessary. I'm willing to not just do something. I'm ready to be a certain way. I'm ready to be like a person that won't just sacrifice the day because I'm inspired. No, that's what I do. Sacrifice is what I do. Getting back up is what I do. Trying to find out what I don't know is what I do. Embarrassing myself in failing is what I do. Then we can start. The next thing you know, Jason is hitting you to be on a panel to be like, what did you do?
Yeah. That's good stuff. That's real. That's real. Man, we are getting some of our politicians are up tonight, man. They talking about great discussion, as Chaz mentioned. They talking about coming back home, saying that, you know, when y'all come back home, we got to schedule something to get y'all to some of these schools, because especially with our young black men, they need to see. They need to see guys who are doing it. You know, enough of, like, if they see me often and I'm talking about you guys, at some point they're gonna be like, who are these guys that he keeps talking about? I don't see them, and I become common to them. But when you come and like, yeah, I did Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. I did, or you know, Chaz, I was in NCIS, I was in Luke Cage. They can now Google you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the big thing. You know, Google me. Find, you know, they fact checking. They fact checking your stories, you know. So no more to the old school guys who stand on the corner like, man, I hit 30 on Stephon Marbury. Now, you know, as like, you know, my high school, we top 25 in the country. We playing against the Chauncey Billups. That's legit. You know what I'm saying? I can say we beat Chauncey Billups by 20, but if the truth be told, Chauncey Billups had 30. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we had like 5 different guys sticking him. You know what I'm saying? So you know, they're fact checking our stories, man, and you guys are credible, you guys are legit, and you're doing it, man. But as Chaz said, everything that we've been speaking is fact, it's true. And to the people who are listening, you know, this is something that, you know, they need their children to hear, but then they need their children to take it to the next level and become and be it. If they can imagine it in their minds, that's one step. You're one step there to now producing and becoming whatever you saw in your minds. Having these physical examples of you guys now gives a face to what success looks like.
Yeah, and you know what? Just elaborate on it real quick, and I have to go. I got to help out with the little newborn. but you know, a lot of this stuff, you know, we all had help. You know, at some point, you know, we didn't do it by ourselves. You know, and you know, and where we are in our stage in our life, we have to be able to do the same for the youth if they need some guidance, if they need some suggestions, some advice, some mentorship. We have to put forth the energy to give back, and I'm willing to do that. You know, when I come home, I don't come home a lot because I travel a lot, as you know, for work. I'm always abroad and I'm just always working. But when I am home, if we can schedule something, I would love to do that. You know, I would love to meet brother Chaz, come down the Philly area.
I'll come up. I'll drive up to you, bro. It's all good.
Yeah. I would love to do so. I love to just speak because, you know, we are, you know, that there are people like us, you know, who come from certain areas, and we had the questions. We didn't know. We didn't come from that walk of life. We weren't raised like that. Our parents couldn't plug us to like producers or auditions. They didn't know nothing about that life, you know. So we had to learn, and we just had to have that mentality again, going back to that word mentality, to push yourself to do those things. And you know, in fashion, like, you know, what Al's done, and you know, and what myself and Chaz and Moo, you too, man, you know, that walk of life. So I'm willing to help out, you know, any way I can, because you know, we all had help. I even had help myself. So
Yeah, for sure, man. Appreciate it. You got to sign off. You can go ahead and sign off. I'm gonna keep Chaz out for like 10 more minutes. Chop it up and ending with them. But bro, I appreciate you, man.
Oh, I love this conversation. Thanks, fellas. AD, Chaz, it's a pleasure. I will.
You, bro. Yes.
Kiss the kids for us.
I will. I'm not going to download that song too. I'm gonna check it out.
Oh yeah, go check out Love and Truth. Love and Truth.
All right, cool.
All right, bro.
All right, peace.
All right, peace. Yeah, man. So again, man, shout out to my bros who are on tonight, man. The discussion is hot right now. The discussion is hot. But we're about to wind down a little bit. Al talked about some of the things, some of the new, how would you say it, fat people who are getting into fashion. Chaz, for people who are getting into entertainment, just give us 2 things that you feel are important starting out.
Be where what you want is. Be where what you want is. Okay, so like Alan said, he said, if you're trying to go far in fashion, you need to be where it is. Nobody owns you. No place owns you. Okay, you are God's. Then the whole world is yours. Okay, so I may be from Philly, you may be from Patterson, you may be from Milwaukee, wherever you're from. It's mind you, we're not talking about being where we're from. We're talking about how to get where we want to go. So you have to be wherever what you want is. So in entertainment, it depends. For instance, this is still just the one of the two things. When it comes to theater is all over. The last theater that I did, I believe, yes, was actually in Portland. However, theater heavy is New York. That is the place where it is thriving on all levels. Okay, there is theater in LA. There is theater, like say, I forgot what you call it, regional theater. That means like in certain places. But if you want to go far in theater, you need to be where it is. When it comes to TV is also in New York. The matter of fact, that all of the more recent projects I did came out of me doing auditioning in New York. Of course, TV we know is very strong in Los Angeles. So TV and film are in both places now. But it is going to be hard for you to lay up in Detroit talking about you trying to hit NBC, ABC. I'm telling you, when it comes to the music, I can't wait to hit Detroit because y'all real with it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But if we're talking, acting and TV and so just wherever it is that is dominating what you want, you need to be there. That would be the first thing. The second thing is to be excellent in all that you do. Excellent, because there's no particular role. So I can't say this is what you do and this is number one, number two, number three. Everybody has, the stories are all over the place as to how things happen for them. So your best bet is to be excellent. And often that way, when somebody happens to be where you are and they're checking out a performance, you didn't expect them to even be there or see you. They happen to be, and you don't have to go get ready. You know what I mean? So for instance, if you want to do Marvel type of shows, then there's a certain level of fitness that you need to be. Well, if you get an audition tomorrow at 5:00 for Marvel, I've been waiting for this. Only thing is, you can't get fit by 5:00 tomorrow. You understand what I'm saying? So I guess the excellence kind of goes with preparation. It's like kind of together. You must be excellent in all that you do. If you are acting in a school play, if you are doing a play at church, if you're doing a short, you're in somebody's short film, a student film, I don't care what it is, you must be excellent and take it serious. Don't be discouraged by the fact that everybody else is not taking it that serious because it's just, you know what I'm saying? No, that's what will separate you, is that you are always on it. You are so be where you need to be where what you want is. And you must be excellent in all things. I don't know, like I was just learning from Alan about the whole fashion world thing, you know what I mean? About like how marketing is probably even more up here in the beginning, Yeah. But I bet you in that industry, you only have one first impression. You only have one. You don't have time to be given your C game just because it's the beginning. You got to bring your A game. If you're doing t-shirts, your t-shirts need to be fire, period. Nobody cares about how much money you don't have. They don't care about, who just died and how that kind of threw you. Nobody cares is what you got to understand. Nobody cares. It's not fair. I'm just saying nobody cares. So you have to be excellent. All they care about is what you coming with. So you where you need to be. All right, now what you got?
Yeah, that's good stuff, buddy. That's good stuff. AD, real quick, man. You talked about a couple of clothing conventions. Give me your top 3 for someone that's just coming out for them to experience.
Well, the number one is probably, I think, Magic Agenda in Vegas. Is twice a year, once in February, once in August. Then they have one at the Jacob Javits Center in New York. I forget, it's usually right before February, around January. I think like just to go to those shows, just to, to feel the atmosphere of of what, you know, of what's going on in fashion, or whether how, because a lot of people, they look at the clothing, but it's a lot of, it's the paperwork behind all of that stuff that makes a business rule that you need to learn. Like it's a lot of the wholesale numbers, the, you know, the retail value, the retail space value, you know, you have to like, you know, you have to pick up on all that stuff. And before you jump into the business, like you have to learn the business, and you can jump into it without knowing it. But while you're in it, it should be a learn as you go process, and make sure that you're learning everything you need to learn within that process. So I would say, like, if you have a chance to go to the Agenda show in Vegas, or I think it's called Magic now, they switch them up so often, but it's a bunch of different shows that go on out there, pool show for sourcing, things like that. You go out there and you mix and mingle. I mean, you go there, you get you a tag. I forget how much, I think it's like $150 to register your business, or whatever the case is. And you go out there and you have your business cards. Like I meet people that tell me they have a clothing brand, and I'll be like, well, give me a business card. They'd be like, well, I don't have a business card, but they have a whole t-shirt they show me. I'm like, cards are like, I may not be able to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I may not even be able to buy your t-shirt right now, but if I think it's something that impressed me, or I think it's dope, or a manufacturer, like the young ladies that's on the line, she's a manufacturer, so they always looking for new brands to manufacture. But that's just like walking to somebody telling them, you know, I could play ball, but you in the gym with, like, you know, dress shoes on, but I ain't playing today, but you know, I kind of do play ball. Like, it don't work like that. Like you know, you have to make sure that, you know, you got to make sure your preparation is like, when you're going to these places, you have to be like well prepared and ready to, like he said, you have to be ready for all of this stuff. So with that, you have to kind of research. And there's some this shows in Paris, this shows all over the place, Puerto Rico, it's a bunch of shows, but
Yeah.
you really have to want to be in that fashion business. You know, you can explore in New York, and just, it's a lot of stuff that goes on, like in the fashion district. You know, you have to look this stuff up, and it's all public knowledge of where these offices are.
Yeah.
And intern, like look at some internships, because I never had to intern, but I kind of wish I did, because I had to learn a lot at a fast pace. Like I had to jump into it like very, very fast. It's like, okay, yeah, you're doing this. Even though I had all those different little jobs in the first company I worked with, my first sales job was because somebody quit, and they just like sent me off to Chicago. So I go to Chicago, and not even knowing that part of the wholesale game, I'm just showing the line because I know the line. I'm looking at it, you know, for 2 weeks, 3 weeks at a time. So I go to Chicago, I give these orders in, you know, I turn the orders in, and the owner called me. He said, hey, come to my office. And I'm like, oh man, what do I do? So I walk in the office. He's sitting there. He was like, you know how much you wrote in Chicago? And I'm like, not really. I was like, no, I just kind of took the orders from the people. I wrote, you know, I just turned them in. He said, well, I'm gonna pay you the commission from it. And I think I wrote like almost like 350,000 or something like that. And I'm like, hold on. So at the time, I was like, you know, I was doing marketing and a bunch of things. And I'm like, hold on. 300. That was after that particular situation, because I was into marketing and doing all that stuff. I jumped on the sales side, because I'm like, hold on. I flew out of sales coming here.
I know that's right.
Coming here with all these watches and doing all this stuff. Like, and they be kicking it. I'm in here making $35,000 an hour.
Yeah.
I made $35,000 off of one show. I said, oh nah.
Yeah.
This is got to change. And that's when I started. That's when I really got heavy into the sales. I sat with sales rep. I would shadow one of the head sales guy. He'd be like, I'm going to this store. So I'm like, I'm going too. So I would just go with him and just, you know, just shadow and learn so much, like at so fast. But had I known that going into that particular business, like, hey, sales people, because I got hired from a sales guy that used to come to Carlos Shoes in Patterson all the time. He like, yo, man, you got it. You smart. Matter of fact, the first line I worked with is Glenn Foray. Glenn Foray used to do Goat Gear with Earl Manigault.
Go Gear. I remember.
I was still working at the store at the time, and he actually paid me to come to Vegas. Me and Wafu, we went out to Vegas, and he paid us to go out there to like help him with his brand. And I was selling and doing my numbers there. And that's when I really started like, yo, I got to get on this wholesale side, and started meeting so many people, the FUBU guys. And you just start, you start mixing and mingling. And next thing you know, like, 25 years later, I'm still in the same business with people calling me with different brands all the time. A lot of stuff I say no to, because if I don't feel the energy in it, I'm not gonna, invest my time in it. But I do wish them well and do push them to keep going, you know, if I can consult them and help them
Yeah.
get their brand to where it needs to be, because I've seen it from a lot of sides. So working in the store, selling on both sides of the table, and I have a meeting that's a little different than people who's never worked on the selling side of it. Like I was a buyer too, so I worked on the buying side of it. So when I'm selling and buying, I have pretty much, it's like chess, and I know everything that's about to go on, and I'm sitting there and I'm playing it out in my head. But it's like practice. I get in the mirror and I practice my speech. Like, okay, this is what I got to do, and it's not even a speech that fits each. I have to do it for each. Like different customers have different personalities. Some people they like to chase, they want to get to business. Some people want to small talk. So it's a skill set that you have to practice.
I just want to say that Fashion Geek killed that Puma collab.
Oh man, he did.
That Puma collab with Fashion Geek was absolutely insane, bro.
That dude, like, first of all, that's my man Zoe Alonzo Jackson and his brother Alan
Shout
Jackson.
out to Fashion Geek.
Fashion Geek, like, that's been one of my top brands for 10, 15 years since it started. And people will be like, "What's that duck sweater you got on? What's that?" And I, like, just growing from there. And then, after I left Puma, he's like, "Yo, man, I want some distribution. I really want to put it out there because, he's like, I'm ready to go now." And he kept, and it hasn't been local. It's been in smaller spots, but he like, "Listen, you can bring it, you can help me bring it to another level." And I'm like, "Man," and he like, "Bro, you need to do this, and I need help, and I want to do it." And I'm like, "All right, you know what?" Because at first I was looking for another kind of corporate gig, and I'm like, you know what? I think I've saved enough money to do what I need to do for myself. And I'm like, man, I'm just going to launch my agency, which people have always told me you should do anyway. And then the floodgates have opened. Like the world isn't even open yet, but I have so many like ill deals that are sitting on the table that I'm like, all right, I got to figure this out. I got medical companies calling me, my man, like, "Yo, I need help doing some marketing, medical stuff." I'm like, I don't know anything about that, but I do have my computer up and I'm reading, and I'm like, oh, so the new norm is going to be people wearing masks and shields and all this stuff. So that market is going to be very, very lucrative within the next few years because even though I understand how people sit in restaurants with masks on, it's retarded to me. It makes no sense. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yo, that's crazy. Shout out to KJ Stansel out in California doing this thing. KJ. Amazing bassist musician with a great resume, but he's from the hood. He's from Patterson. So shout out. Thanks for logging on tonight. But yeah, AD, that Fashion Geek Puma, I'm telling you, every time I went to go get that jacket, bro, my size was sold out. That extra large and that Fashion Geek Puma collab was sold out.
With the big cat on it?
With the big cat, yeah,
that's hard. Like and that's the thing about him. Like his collaboration, they designed it themselves. Like they didn't let none of the people and the people at Puma. They like, nah, we doing our own thing. And there's some silhouette shoes. The next shoe that's about to come out is crazy. I think he did a Rider or something. I can't remember which one it was.
Oh wow!
Look at his Instagram. You gotta look at. He did a Ralph Sampson, and I think he did a Rider. I think it's on his Instagram.
Okay. I'll definitely check it out. Definitely good stuff, man. But fellas, I've definitely been enjoying you guys tonight. Just if you can, man. I know you shared so much tonight, man. If you could just leave, if you guys can leave us with one thought tonight. One thought.
I'll give you one. Happiness. Base your decisions around it.
Wow.
You only get one time to be it, one life to be it.
Wow.
And so that's how you want to figure stuff. If you don't have time for a whole conversation and all of that stuff, if you follow that, what is it that makes me happy? You may not even know it.
Yeah.
But if you actually start to focus on your happiness, then you'll come across what will help you to get there, and then you just have to decide to be it. Some people, you may lose some along the way. You know what I'm saying? You may disappoint some along the way, but you'll get there if you follow your happiness.
Yeah,
you'll get there, and you'll be in line with what's right for you. I want to thank Q-Tip for bringing us on here tonight. We appreciate it. I love your music, bro. I just want to thank you for being
man. Chaz, you crazy.
I know it. But happiness.
Yo, that's good stuff, man. And again, everybody make sure you go on iTunes, look up Chaz Shepherd, go check out Luke Cage, go check out NCIS, go check out some of the other shows and movies he's been on. I know many people definitely recognize him from Set It Off.
They still on it. Funny thing is tonight when I got your text, I had seen it in a minute. I was actually sitting down eating, watching The Temptations.
Yep, he was in The Temptations.
I wasn't even in it. I was just like watching the joint, like, yo. And also great to hear you too, Alan, man. Congratulations on
Thank you, man.
what you are and what you're accomplishing, but more so just what you are. Because accomplishments, y'all, or whatever, we have a bunch of them. But you know, the kind of person you are, the kind of life you live in. I love to hear somebody say, I saved up enough to do what I want to do for me. I loved hearing that just now, bro. So congrats. And Jason, man, you already know, man. You are the man, bro.
Yo, much love,
I'm telling you, the devil is busy. As soon as I was mustering up myself to come to one of them early services of yours. I'm telling you, bro, I think I was only 2 weeks away from being able to get up and do it. And then they shut it down. But it's all gonna come back together, bro.
So it's gonna come back together for sure.
I got the card back, so I'm coming.
For sure. We gotta definitely make it happen, man. AD, man, what you want to leave us with, good brother?
I'll say to the people listening, don't be afraid to be successful, man. Stop being afraid to be successful. Like, that's it. Like, you just gotta try it. If you fail, you fail. But don't be afraid to be successful, man. I tell myself that every morning, like, and it's doubts and you have doubts, but just don't be afraid. It's like, I'm doing this. And
good stuff.
That's a whole sermon right there.
What? Yeah, we can do the benediction. Now unto him who's able. Yeah.
Jason, you're gonna have to get us out of here on that.
Yeah.
That'll preach.
But yo, to everybody that logged in legitimately from all over the world, we can say that people were listening through a translator tonight from Brazil.
Dope.
Wow.
It's in the comments. So shout out to everybody that tuned in from around the country. This link will be up. We're gonna leave the conversation up, but it's gonna also be on YouTube. So I'll forward it to you guys for you guys to share with just anybody who needs a message, who needs a testimony, who needs to hear it. They'll be able to hear it. And I appreciate you guys. I want to pray before we go. And Father, thank you for everything that you allowed our ears to hear tonight, Father. I thank you for Monty. I thank you for Chaz. I thank you for Al. I ask that you would continue to cover them wherever they may be. Everything that they put their hands to do, I pray that it prospers, that it grows, that it changes the trajectory of their legacy, God, that they leave a lasting legacy for those who are following them, for those who are modeling their lives after them, that they touch lives that they never thought that they could touch. That you will do exceedingly abundantly above all that you could ever ask or think. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Yo, love you, bros.
Love you, man. Love y'all.
Sure, bro.
Easy.
Absolutely. We'll catch up.
All right.
Bye, brother.